Hey y'all, welcome back to Homestead in the City. I'm Zach, and today we're going on a tour of my garden. So if you're new to Homestead in the City, we are a group of friends in the Midlands of South Carolina that loves to learn how to grow more of what we eat and eat more of what we grow, and some other stuff too. I garden on about 1/4 of an acre here in the Midlands, and I am assisted by my beautiful puppy, Percival. Percy, you want to smile for the camera? Nope, he's just going to be digging. And speaking of Percy, this is the pond that he helped me dig. Now, this was a brick raised bed when we moved in, and so Percy did a ton of digging here, and then I did some digging and helped him. We used some chicken wire and concrete to put a bottom down in this pond area, and then have filled it with water. We are still kind of going through and patching little holes here and there, but it seems to be holding water well. We are almost ready for fish to add into it and get some other wildlife in here. But we are working on growing some flowers and strawberries and cherry laurel back in there to kind of give a little bit more privacy in there and kind of separate us from the neighbors. All right, and we are closer than ever to getting chickens. We are in our chicken run now. We've been preparing for them for a good 2 years now. But this is just where we have taken the trees and branches and kind of bent them over, and then just worked on also tucking branches like this back into this middle fencing. And over time, we've created this evergreen tunnel, and it's going to help protect chickens from hawks from up above. It's going to keep them contained in here. Over on this side, we just have some wattle fencing that I built from some of the other branches that have been cut from other trees. So pretty soon we will have chickens in here. And then right on the other side of that chicken run is our food forest area. So this is where we've got a great mix of different fruit trees in here and some shrubs. We've got a little banana coming in. We do have tons of strawberry in here. This is one of the 2 chestnuts that we put in here. We've got a mulberry. We have plum, or I'm sorry, that's a persimmon back in there. A plum over here. Loquat there. Raspberry down here. None of them are bearing fruit yet. So this is a project that's taking a lot of patience. We are just starting year number 3 in here, and we do expect it to take a good 5 to 7 years before it really gets established and starts putting off some food. And kind of back to Percy, I'll show you what he's doing. This is kind of his digging pit at the top of our fruit orchard area. And we just have been filling this with mulch, and he gets to dig here as much as he wants. He's not allowed to dig in the other areas. And as he digs, it mixes the sandy soil in with the wood chips. And that has been breaking down over the last couple years. And it holds rainwater really well. And he's just going to keep digging and mixing that in, and it is just gonna keep turning into better and better soil that eventually gets raked down or just kind of spread down as he digs to the rest of the orchard. And so this is the fruit orchard. It doesn't look that different from that food forest area back in there right now, but over time it will kind of diverge, and this is going to be the much more manicured area, and that's going to be a little bit more of the wild area. And so I'm just going to kind of go through. We have 7 rows. I'll go through 1 row at a time. We've got the 4 rows that are up against the house, and then we've got the 3 rows that are farther away. All right, in row 1 here, we just have this one blueberry is the main thing right now. It does have some fruit on it. We'll see how this turns out. We weren't expecting that much even, because we don't have other blueberries planted out yet for cross-pollination, but that is something that we do want to get in there. Now in row 2, I have this apple tree here, and then moving on in, I have a peach tree, which is one of 3 peaches that I have in a row. We'll see the others in just a second. And then I have this Cara orange tree, which I have had some oranges from another tree from a neighbor who has one. They are really delicious. And then I also have this fig tree that's hanging on, and that is just coming from this little stick that I shoved into the ground over the winter, and it took root. And you see me pulling this away. That's our ground cover. Let's talk about that. So you can see it more here in rows 3 and 4, where I let the cover crop go a little bit more. But it's just a winter cover crop mix that I got. Includes some brassica, peas, and other stuff. And we grew that in the entire orchard. And so that's just to, one, provide something so that there's always energy going down into the plant roots, building good soil. And then also, as this is ending the near of its lifespan, we're gonna chop and drop it so that it becomes the mulch for these rows, and is going to help suppress weeds and build good soil in there. So I'll either just kind of push it down, or maybe cut it down with some shears. And then also, since I've cut that off and not pulled it out by the roots, those roots are going to break down in the soil and without disturbing it. So we're going to get good soil growth and a lot of energy going from the sun into those leaves, down into those roots, and mixing in with that good soil microbiome. Oh, and not to miss the trees of rows 3 and 4, but here in 3, we've got a Satsuma mandarin, we've got another one of my peach trees, and a pear tree, and it's ended by this elderberry, which is just about to go to flower. And then here on row 4, got some more elderberry at the end, and this is where we have our older peach tree. This was put in about 18 months ago, and so we actually have some peaches coming in, and so we're really excited about having some homegrown peaches for the first time. That's our first fruit tree to really put off good growth. We have about a dozen peaches, and if you've seen some of our other videos, we have trained this down so that we'll have these main 4 branches that kind of grow out, and then all of this new growth comes off of these main branches, and then we'll trim that every year. So that these main branches will thicken up, and then they'll keep putting off these, which in peaches, the fruit grows off of wood, 1-year-old wood. So that means that right now, this branch grew out last year, and now it's growing peaches, and this is one of the new branches from this year. So that means next spring, this is gonna have peaches. All right, in row 5, we have a banana over there, and we have a banana over there at both ends. And then we have apples inside either of those. And then in the middle, we do have one Asian persimmon tree, which used to be taller, but somebody bit it in half. Row 4, we have a pawpaw that has come up from seed, and that is right beside this Arkansas black apple, so we might have to make a decision there. Then in the center, we have a plum tree, which is not fruiting yet. And then over here, we've got a pear tree. And then right beside that, we have a grapevine. And then we also, I believe, under here have mulberry. So it's kind of hard to tell the difference, but we've got our mulberry, our grape, and our pear. And of course, some more elderberry. And actually, you can see a little elderberry flower right there already. Now in row 7, you can see all the stuff already up under there where we've trimmed back that old growth. And we've got this shiso or purple mint. We've got a lot of strawberry in there. We have some yarrow. This is another one of my apple trees. Got some more elderberry, getting close to flowering right here. We've got onion going to flower. We've got tons of strawberry in there. So really cutting down that winter mix that's letting sunlight get down in here to some of the other crops. Some, I think this is some mountain mint. Yep. Another one of my pear trees, more elderberry. Just a good mix in here, and capped by a little rosemary. right beside the greenhouse, so you can see where we have thrown out a lot of sunflower seeds and are going to try to get some to grow up around that. And other than that, right now, not a lot going on in the greenhouse. It's gotten hot, so a lot of this stuff has died. Haven't quite reset it for the summer, but I'm thinking I might do some peppers or something, but we'll see. Here's some muscadines that I propagated last year. They're doing okay in here, but nothing too much going on here. Oh, and a pineapple. Of course, we've got our fountain pond here in the back. This is one of my favorite areas. This was a big project when we first moved in. It was completely filled in. There were trees growing out, so we dug down, kind of refurbished it, filled in the cracks with concrete, put a little pump in there, filled it with water. And then immediately we had frogs moving in, and then we've added a lot of goldfish. And then we also put in these pots with plants, and of course we put a ton of stuff around the side. And so what ends up happening is, as that water keeps circulating, we've got the frogs in there, we've got the fish. We also have, just as leaves and stuff fall in, that starts decomposing. We've got it going through all of these beds. So it gets mixed up, it gets aerated, and it really builds a very biologically diverse microbiome in that water that creates a great base if I want to water stuff just with that, or use some of that in making a compost tea, or even if I just put plants right by the side and they kind of get sprayed by that fountain splash and get those nutrients. It's just an all-around great source of water and getting a good nutritionally dense water for those plants. And then of course we have one more pond in the backyard, and that's right at the back corner. We've got fish in that one too. I've got a chair in case I want to observe. Got my banana tree. Got some more pawpaws that are coming up, and that's right at the bottom of our orchard area. And it's a little hard to tell from this angle, but something I'll note about our backyard, like I said earlier, I'm doing the tour from kind of uphill to downhill, but we are at the bottom, kind of the bottom of our backyard, which would be the top of our backyard, front yard, topographically. But we've got our, where we're gonna put our chickens. We've got our compost area that I didn't really show up there at the top. So the thinking is, as it rains, anything that gets washed downhill, it's going to be picking up the most nutrient dense chicken droppings and other compost and stuff, and bring it downhill this way, filtering it through all of our orchard so that they pick up all those nutrients. Then along the side yard, we are still mostly just waiting over here. We've got the very start of an espalier lemon tree that we're gonna kind of put up the whole side of the house. I've got some other privacy trees that are growing in here. We do have an elderberry, and then our big muscadine vine, which is kind of a local grape. I'm gonna be working on just growing up the entire side of the house, which when we moved in 2 years ago, it was, maybe this big right here. And now, at the bottom, it's that thick. It's putting off all this growth already. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll get any grapes this year. I haven't seen any buds on it yet, but if not this year, surely next year we'll get some. All right, and real quick around the front yard, we do have our pallet raised beds kind of closer to the house. They're a little overgrown. If you've been with us for a bit, I did build these, but really right now they are kind of acting as a compost in place area. We've got a little bit of plants in there, but mainly we're letting compost break down in there. And then hopefully this fall, we may replace them with something else, maybe with some new beds, and then really get that soil kind of done well and get some organized plantings in here. All right, and then moving forward from my raised beds, the pallet raised beds at least, coming up to the hill in the middle of the yard. I do have some raised beds in here right now, and I've just got all of this garlic, and it is going well. But I'm starting to think that what I'll do here long term is make this an apiary hill and have some beehives. So we'll see about that. What do y'all think? Oh, this is a pear tree that I got for like $9 maybe at the local grocery store. They were getting rid of some inventory at the end of the season, so went ahead and snagged it. Did not think it was gonna do too well. Seems to be hanging on. We'll see. All right, and then right beside the driveway, we have our in-ground dug down rainwater catchment beds, and it's a little hard to tell right now because we're at the end of that winter cover crop season, and I kind of need to trim back. But there are 4 separate beds right here along the driveway, and they were dug intentionally down from the level of the driveway so that water can drain off and capture and be captured here and drain into the yard first before going into the street, because we have a lot of flooding issues in our neighborhood because we live on a hill. Stuff goes downhill like that, and water goes almost as fast as the driver's speeding through. Of course, along our driveway we have our berry hedge, which I have made this wattle fence using a lot of scrap wood and been weaving cover crop into here. But we have also got our first flush of berries that have come in. So I picked most of the ripe ones already, but we got these dewberries coming in, and we have a ton of others planted in there that over the years we hope will start filling in. And if you've seen all the mulch we have everywhere in the past, this big hill built up in that Percy's digging pit, we do have a dedicated mulch delivery driveway right here. And that's so that we can get tons of chip drops. This is number 13, I believe. And we can let that sit there for several weeks if we need to, and slowly take it to other parts of the property. And then those wood chips, as you saw, break down over a lot of time, of course, into some really beautiful soil. And I didn't mention it, but most of what we're putting in, especially around the perimeter, is all native planting, and we recently got certified as a wildlife habitat, so that's something else important to us. We want to take care of the local ecosystem, and then we know that it will in turn help take care of our gardens. But that's all we got for this week, so see you all in the next video.